traders with the same broker, they're still going to get slipped differently. Right? You follow me? So multiple trades with different brokers, they're still going to get slipped differently. Think of your orders, when you're trading the markets, think of your orders being like waiting, like a placeholder in line. Right? That's how you got to kind of think of it. It's like a placeholder in line. So, trader A may be one of the first ones up in line, where trader B, trading a different position size, they may be 1,000th in line. And you just, it's one of those things where you just, it's going to be different. Yeah. So Gabrielle says, change it, get a shirt instead of slippage happens. Yeah. Yeah. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, but I feel for people. But that is the risk that we assume. And I read an interesting article I shared it on Twitter yesterday. I read it on, I think YouTube. You guys should be hearing me right now, hopefully, but I shared it on Twitter yesterday, and it was an article. I was trying to figure out what happened. And it was an article just reminding people, hey, like, you should know this stuff before you get into the Forex market. If you're complaining about slippage, right? You're complaining, you're not sure about, understanding it's over the counter market. Like, you should know this stuff. You should know the risk before you get involved. There should be no one out there, and I know it's not true. Everyone is, not everyone studies all this, but, when you're out there, you should understand that, hey, like, slippage happens. It's normal. It happens every trade we take, right? Or the risk of it happens every trade we take, and it's just going to get bigger. Try it out. Try placing. You do it on the demo. Well, demo account, you won't get the same slippage. But I'll say, try it on if you look at the non-farms today, to any of you guys that are brave and trying to trade it, see what happens when you put a limit order on a non-farms report. Right? Very, very, very low possibility that you're going to get filled at your actual order. Assuming we have a big reaction. So it stinks. Welcome to you guys on YouTube. I started broadcasting live. I see a lot of familiar names on there. There's a little bit of a delay, but I'll try to pay attention to the questions as much as I can. The live room members do take priority, but we're going to take our normal syndicate break at 8:30. That way Charles can brag about how great he's been in the market. Charles has been killing it, man. I hate him, man. He's been crushing it, and I've been trading well. I've had a really, really good summer of trading, but Charles has just been kicking tail, and I feel bad about myself. I'm typing in like, hey guys, 76 pips on pound yen. Oh yeah. Charles comes in like 800 pips on euro dollar. I'm like, come on, man. You couldn't give me like 5 seconds to feel good? But no, it's serious. Charles has been doing great, and we had another good week. I just exited my euro yen position. That came back to minus 21. So really worked out well. If you guys remember, we took two trading opportunities on, I took two trading opportunities on pound yen and euro yen. I assumed both of them were going to be losers just by how price action formed. This was the bat formation up here, X to A, A to B, B to C, C to D. And again, once I see that break and close above X, what does that tell me? Break and close above X tells us what? Right? Bullish continuation. Now, this situation was a little bit different, right? Yeah, invalidated pattern, actually. Yeah, invalid. Well, both are right, but invalidated pattern. Now, this situation was a little bit different because we had a higher level of structure over here. And what do I always tell you guys to do when we have two levels of resistance or two levels of support? Which one is the more important one? Which one can you potentially get trapped at? Yes, the highest one is the most important one. This is the trap right here. How do I know it's the trap? Because I've donated lots of money figuring out this was the trap. That's my nice way of saying that the market took it from me. Sounds a lot better that way instead of getting, guys, I got stopped out 10 million times doing this. Makes me sound better saying I've donated money to educating myself on where not to put a stop loss. But yeah, so in stuff like this, sometimes you want to say you're lucky because technically the pattern formation was invalid and it still came down. I got out for like plus 13 pips or anything like that. But there is a little bit of skill that goes into this. This is kind of what we talked about with Gabrielle all week about. We're going to go over this in Monday's Q&A. She sent me a pretty good looking email, but we were talking all week about, remember the pound dollar, how it had broken structure. And Gabrielle was talking about how she got long based on the CTS score, combined technical score. And I was like, you really, I don't like telling people how to trade, but she's a transformation client. So I can smack her around a little bit. And she accepts that. She welcomes it. And I was like, you may not want to, stuff like that comes from experience. And that is something that you'll get when you have more time in the market. Keep in mind, I've been doing this for years and years and years. Stuff like that comes from experience. Now, hopefully my job as an educator is to make the learning curve a little shorter for you. You still have to experience this stuff on your own, unfortunately. And that's part of the trading journey. You learn a lot about yourself. You learn a lot about the market. You still have to experience for yourself. But as an educator, as a coach, I'm here to kind of give you that insight like, hey, you may want to look out for this. And I don't say that just because. I say that because I've been through it. And this is one of those situations. So we're not lucky, right? Even though the pattern is invalid, we made the smart move. We got stops at a smart level. So essentially break even on euro yen here. And then again, pound yen yesterday, I thought I was going to be stopped out of that. And that ended up being a winner. So those were the two biggest trades that, not that I was fearful of, but those were the ones that I had a lot of risk on. And both of them ended up going in my favor. So we had a pretty decent week, guys. Again, Charles is going to go over it in our war room meeting today, but I think we were up what, 220? Is that what it was, Charles? 220, 230 something? Something like that, 233. And it's like, and it doesn't, here's the cool part. It doesn't even seem like we've been doing anything. That's how you know you're in the zone. When it just seems, and this is not bragging or anything like that, but it just seems effortless. You're just following the plan. We're just doing our job. Right? We're just coming in every day. We're analyzing the markets the same day. We're looking for the same opportunities and we're just doing our job. We're not doing anything different. Right? We're not taking any type of new extravagant strategy or pattern formation or opportunity. Right? We're not looking for anything super secret. We're not avoiding the valid ones. We're just doing our job. And it's amazing what happens when you do your job. You do your job, you get paid. You do your job, you get paid. So I'm happy. We're in a pretty good groove. I'm not sure did I share with you the equity curve? I'll show you the equity curve. We're due for a drawdown, right? We're due for a drawdown. I'm just waiting for it. I thought it was going to be this week. We're due for a drawdown because you can see over the last few weeks, right? What goes up must come down. So we're due, but hey, if we can ride it out till Thanksgiving, hey, as long as it's coming, I'll take it. I'm just trying to do my job each and every day. So, but I'm sure he'll get into, usually on Fridays, Charles gets into a little bit more detailed about how his week went. And I think today he's going to review some of the past trades that he took. So that's pretty cool. How was my September? My September was good too. I've been on a heater since August, I think. Since Charles got in the war room, I started heating up. He put the pressure on me. He put the pressure on me. No, but I've been trading well since August. So I'm quite happy. Beginning of the year didn't start too hot for me. So it's but I typically end in the same spot all the time. I typically end in the same spot all the time. Yeah, if you're watching, there's going to be a little bit of lag on YouTube. So yeah, if you have the option to come into the live room, it's going to be much clearer here. Plus, I'm paying a lot more attention to you in the live room. No offense to you guys on YouTube, but I'll go. I think the YouTube chat is going to turn more into like a trading forum. So hopefully, hopefully we get some good comments in there. But yeah, we've been trading well. We've been trading well. So just got to ride it out a little bit more. Ride it out a little bit more. Got a few months left. Few months left of this trading year. All right. So if you're If you've been messing up all year, you've got a few months left to end on a good note. If you've been trading well all year, again, following your plan, then you got a few months left to continue that consistency. The war room, Marquise, the war room, we're going to start the war room in about 4 minutes. So what I'm going to do here is we take a 10-minute break in our live room for the war room. So we're still going to take that 10-minute break in the live room, but I'm going to start looking at the YouTube. Well, I'm going to start looking at those who stay in the live room and the YouTube chat to see if there are any questions. Can I block people in here? I can. Perfect. There we go. We're gonna start blocking. We're gonna start blocking people that write in bad stuff. Perfect. Look at that. I've got the power. So Charles will start in about 3 minutes with War Room. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, let me know. Again, this is a laid back. It's non-farms Friday, so the fireworks is going to start in about 3 minutes with our jobs number. I'm not trading at all today. I'm done for the week, so I figured we just sit back and ask some questions. Ron says, if it wasn't for the non-farm payroll, I'd be pretty excited about possible 26.18 on euro yen. Yeah, this is a pretty decent one. Again, you got a beautiful double top up here, right? Beautiful double top right at the resistance. We kind of have it drawn out already. Stops need to go above previous structure highs. Targets, Ron. I mean, look, you're not running into structure until this level. I think we talked about this yesterday, but you know, you've got a wonderful risk reward on here, potentially, I should say. Of course, all depending on how aggressive you are in taking targets. But you can certainly look for secondary targets. Look for, I guess, initial targets down here at a 4-to-1 risk reward. But you know, you get a 26.18 opportunity. Take half off right here. Let that second half ride down the previous structure around that 114.50s level. That's a pretty decent move right there. Pretty decent move. But unfortunately, like you said, non-farms Friday, this is probably all going to get ruined. But you never know. You know, maybe the markets may be a little shy after what happened last night. After last night's mini crash, maybe it'll be a little shy. YouTube Akil, I was in a drawdown the entirety of September, but I finally got out of it just by trading the plan. Well done. Well done. It's amazing. It's amazing what following the plan will do. I'm telling you. Just think about all the hard work you put, for you guys that have a plan. Just think about all the hard work that you put into your plan, right? Right. I never understood why people that do put in all that hard work, how come they suddenly just stop using it? Like, why? You spent months and months and months back testing, creating a plan, something that's going to line you up for success. And then when it comes time to actually do it, you stop. Yeah. I understand why, obviously, psychology, but it's tough. Akil, how do you deal with the pound? Is there a way for you to protect yourself against those flash crashes? No, unfortunately, no, there's not. We were talking earlier about that before we started going live. I'm going to load up real quick. I'm going to load up the war room here. I'm not going to put the countdown clock in a live room. Just, you know, if you want to go join Charles, feel free to come back when you're done. I'm going to load up the war room. I actually want to watch it. So you're going to see a video on your screen, but you won't hear any noise. Let me just see what this what's going on here with our non-farms. But yeah, there's nothing you can do about that crash, unfortunately. US creates 156,000. So we're above the safe zone. What's the average hourly earnings? That's the most important thing. Average hourly earnings, where are you at? Everybody's worried about the non-farm number. That's not what matters. Oh, well, we'll find it later. But yeah, there are some instances where you can avoid it. Like I did think the Swissy crash was avoidable just by not trading those pairs. You kind of knew that there was some funky stuff going on there. With yesterday, I don't think anyone saw it. Well, obviously someone saw it coming, but I don't think there was any way to see it coming. unfortunately. And you hate to say that. Average dollar is at 0.2. Okay, thanks. Yeah, I just think there wasn't any way to avoid it. And again, stop losses don't hurt or don't help. You're going to get slipped. We had many traders that got slipped for the positive. I got slipped for the positive, which is good. But we have many traders that got slipped for the negative as well. And that's the risk of trading. We have to know what we're getting into. We always glorify the good parts of trading. We see, oh, you can make this much money. You can do this. You can do that. You can have financial freedom, right? You can have freedom of time. You can grow your business. You can manage money. You can do this. You can do that. But understand the risk. There's a lot of risk involved, a lot of risk. Anything that has massive reward has massive risk, right? Even if you think about it at a more basic element, think about it as like just an entrepreneur. Someone that goes on to start their own business. And essentially that's what you do when you're trading. But think about an entrepreneur that goes off to start their own business, right? What's the good side? There's no ceiling. You can grow your business as much as you want. You can grow your business to whatever you want. But on the downside, if you blow your business, you're out of luck. Everything's on you. So we got to understand the risk. And unfortunately, stuff like this happens. This is why we prepare for it. This is why we trade smart position sizes. I hate to say it, but if you blew an account, unless you were involved, if you blew an account off this move, you probably weren't using a smart position size. And I hate to make such a general statement like that, but because there could have been a trader that could be trading a very small position size and trading 15-pound pairs all in the same direction. But that's when it goes into creating your portfolio. What do we talk about when creating your portfolio? What is important to do? What was the mistake that lost me $30,000? You guys remember? Yeah. I didn't have enough diversity. I had like 6 yen pairs, 6 yen crosses in my portfolio. Right. And it could have been, it was so long ago. It could have been 5, but I had a lot of yen pairs in my portfolio. I was filled the same way on every single pair, and they all crashed at the same time. Now there's 2 choices there. I can blame the market, or I can say to myself, well, is it the market's fault that I was so exposed in yen pairs, or was it my fault for deciding to trade 6 of them? For having 6 yen pairs in my portfolio, was it my fault for taking trading opportunities on all 6 of them at the same time in the same direction? Right? In hindsight, I'm like, you're an idiot. There's 2 choices in the outcome. It can go really good or really bad. It just wasn't smart. So this is why you set yourself up, right? You set yourself up in a smart way. You create a diverse portfolio. You trade. We're not seeing any reaction. It's pretty decent. You trade a smart position size, where if something like this happens, right? Yeah, it stinks. You may get slipped 500 pips. But I'll tell you what, if a 500 pip stop loss blows your account, probably not trading the right position size. You're probably trading a little bit too big. Unfortunately, that's what a lot of traders do. Especially a lot of traders when you see them creating these ginormous returns, when you see them posting stuff, hey guys, I made 50% this week. I made 50% this week, right? It's not that it's not true, right? You can make 50% a week. It's true. The question is how much are you risking to make that 50%? So yeah, you got to, and that's the stuff of trading. That's the off the chart stuff of trading, guys. That's the off the chart stuff of trading. Hold on 1 second. Just want to check a few things. Look at that. Another user block. This is awesome. This is awesome. It looks like that 2618. We're not seeing much movement from the market, Stefano. So you may still be in luck with that 2618 opportunity. You can see the market's doing a lot of nothing. This is the non-farm payroll dance, right? We look at it on a range bar chart. You can just see the dance that's going on here. Look at that. 8:30, right? We go down, we go up. We go down, we go up. Complete waste of time. Gabriel says there's one on the dollar yen as well. Here's a look at the euro dollar in the range bar chart. We'd like to take a look at the range bar charts again. It gives us a different perspective of what's going on. So instead of just seeing a candlestick like this, we can actually see the movements that are happening. Let me put Charles to the side here. I like you, Charles. But we're gonna put you to the side. Check out dollar yen. What time frame are you looking at, Gabby? Same thing, 240. It says I'm liking what I see so far. Hopefully, it will let me click 2618, and hopefully, it'll continue to trend down. Yeah, that'll be good. Um, 60-minute, I'm guessing, Gabby. Not seeing a 2618 here. I don't see a double top at all. No double top here. It's not going to be a 2618 trade. Give me a second to sip some of this coffee. Looks like you had an advanced pattern formation down here. This is going to be a Gartley formation, if my eyes don't lie. X right here, 103.34. Look at that. Very, very deep Gartley formation. You've got swing low to swing high, X to A to B. You've got a B to C. Should probably double check that. Looks like we hit 618. CD completion right there. Yep. So you had a nice Gartley formation in there as well. Pretty nice, pretty nice. And guys on YouTube, come on. We want to create a professional atmosphere here. I know that's a pretty tough task to ask for on YouTube. But if you're typing in stuff that just is rude, I'm just going to ban you. So I don't like doing it, but I just don't, I want to create a certain atmosphere when I do stuff. So if you're in here, if you're using foul language, if you're talking about people, you're calling people names, I'm just going to ban you. So I'm telling you in advance, so please don't take offense if it happens. If you included these in your backtest results, should you not trade them? That's up to you. I wouldn't trade during the non-farms, but that's a personal decision. You don't have to avoid non-farms. That's a personal decision by myself. But you can certainly trade them if you want. You can trade during the non-farms, yeah. But that's a choice you will have to make. We talk all about rules-based trading and being disciplined. There's a line between being disciplined and being stubborn, and you got to kind of find that. It's one thing to be strict and stick to your rules. There's another thing to be aware of what the market does and know that it's not a good situation to be trading in. So those are some of the things you want to talk about. I saw the question on YouTube. How long will it take for the market to be stable? I typically, when I have rules about trading news, I look for 15 minutes before and 15 minutes after. So typically you give it about 15 minutes after the news release. That's when the markets kind of slow down and get back to normal. So you see that you have the initial reaction, and then the market thinks about it for a little bit, and then there's another reaction. Usually about 15 minutes later, the dust kind of settles. Akil, do you have your Series 7's license? Just curious. No, I do not. No. At one point a long time ago, I was thinking about getting it. Well, not the Series 7. There was a different one that was more Forex specific that allowed me to do what I want to do. But no, I'm not licensed in any way, which means you guys should not be listening to anything I'm saying. Yes, this is Forex. Yep. Oh, I'm so late on these. There we go. So late on these questions. 4 nice weeks for the syndicate. Yeah, Tony, we've been rolling. We've been rolling. I'm surprised. I'm surprised. It's, just with the way the markets, this hasn't been a good year for market movement. You see Charles is showing his stats right here on the war room right now. It hasn't been a sexy year for market movement at all. It's been kind of slow and dull. We had the Brexit, and everything has just been consolidating after the Brexit situation. And we've been coming into the live room each day, and it seems like there haven't been that many trading opportunities. However, lo and behold, I'm always under the assumption. I do my analysis about once a month. I do it for the syndicate about once a week, and each week I'm under the assumption. I always try to do a comparison of how many trades that we used to have per week versus we do now, and it really hasn't changed that much. We're still taking the same amount of trades. It's interesting because if you just looked at how the market's been moving and just off of feel, I guess it feels like it's been very, very, very slow, but in reality, it hasn't been as slow as it seems. So, no, I'm strictly Forex right now. I started off in the stock market, stock investing, but I'm strictly Forex right now. Who in here took an overnight pound-dollar buy without a stop loss? Ooh. See, here's the thing, right? There is no reason, and I don't want to sound mean. I know a lot of people lost money. But for that particular pair, the pound-dollar, there is no reason to buy it, in my opinion. I can't speak for pound Aussie too, but I can't speak for some of the other pound crosses. But I didn't see any reason to buy pound-dollar. We had just broken major structure to the downside, right? We've all seen Into the Gray, right? Have you guys all seen Into the Gray? I'm talking to you guys on YouTube. And again, I can only speak for I can speak for pound-dollar and pound Aussie because those ones had just broken structure. Pound yen and other ones, those are in normal areas. But for those two, at least, right, we were below structured. If you've seen Into the Gray, you know about reading a price chart. When we see lower low, lower close, I'll shoot you guys a link. We think bearish trend, bearish. So I saw no reason to think bullish on those pairs. Now, again, other ones, and I don't want to hope I'm not making anyone feel bad that I don't want to make it seem like if you got stopped out and slipped a lot that it's your fault, because it's not your fault. And I don't want to put off that impression, but just general analysis on those two pairs. What if you were already in pound-dollar? Could you wait for a retracement? If I would take targets. Take targets where your trading plan says to take targets at. Look at Charles in that nice smooth mountain. Look at that mountain man. Slipped a little bit, found his footing. He's living a life right now, man. He's living a life. For you guys that don't know, Charles Miles, he runs our war room meeting. He started off right where you guys are at. I remember looking at Charles. We had a live seminar in Kansas City. I remember he was sitting up front row. He was the only one dressed professionally. The only one. Everyone else was kind of, I shouldn't say that, but he stuck out to me. He was dressed professionally, had his glasses on. He looked like a studious person. I remember him just hovering around all of the conversations, just taking everything in. Didn't really talk much, but taking everything in. It's so great to see kind of that transformation. But yeah, here's euro dollar. Someone wanted to take a look at euro dollar in the 4 hour. Chad says the non-farm payroll is the main news announcement that a technical trader should pay attention to, or is there another? Here are the news announcements that I pay attention to. Obviously, the non-farms is one. I pay attention to interest rate decisions, especially if there's a potential change. So most of the time, there's not a potential change. But for example, the Kiwi has been messing around for its interest rate, New Zealand dollar or New Zealand. The U.S. is potentially looking to hike rates. So non-farms, interest rates, FOMC statements, and ECB press conferences. Those are the four major ones for me. Now, if that being said, it's important to understand that what's important as far as fundamental news, it changes with kind of the times. So back in the day, right? Back in the day, there's a news report that comes out. There's unemployment claims come out every Thursday. Back probably about 2-3 years ago, each and every Thursday, the market would get rocked because of that number. Because back then, what the market cared about was our unemployment rate. Now, the market doesn't really care about that too much. So that announcement doesn't really see as much movement. Does that make sense, Chad? So it does change over time, but non-farms is always going to be big. Interest rate decisions, again, if there's potential for change, is always going to be big. And then FOMC statements, ECB press conference, those are always going to get big because those are just talking about the state of the economy. As far as specifically for right now, for the dollar, any type of inflation report is kind of the hot button report. So any type of, ISM manufacturing and stuff like that. But, in a year from now, that may be different. Once we hike rates, that may be different as well. David says on YouTube, in your years of experience, how often do these flash crashes occur? I've seen, I've been trading since when? 2009, 10, 9, somewhere around there. I've seen 3. I'm not going to count Brexit because we knew Brexit was coming, but I've seen 3. I've seen this one. I've seen the Swissy crash, and then I saw one with the yen, but that was caused by a natural disaster. So I'm not sure if you want to count that or not. There was like a big tsunami back in, I don't know when it was. It was years ago, one of my first years trading. A big tsunami that happened overnight, and the yen pairs just crashed because of that. Hey, good afternoon. Do you think that the U.S. elections are going to hit the pound further in November? And after all, it will start to consolidate? You know what? I don't know. We have an interesting election cycle this year because I don't think anyone likes any of our candidates. So I don't know how the market's going to react to it. I don't know how the market's going to react. I think the public just generally doesn't like any of them. We have like a 13% rate of people that are just in the middle, undecided. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Will the CAD yen continue up? Maybe. I never know what the market will do. That's not up to me. The market does what it wants when it wants to do it. My job is to make predictions. My job is to find trading opportunities and hopefully execute those trading opportunities. But I don't know if it will. Probably it's also going to depend on what time frame you're looking at as well. Are you looking at the Fed to raise rates in November? If they do, how will you like to be positioned for it? Well, I'm going to trade what I see on the charts. So whether the Fed raises rates in November or December, or whether they don't, that's going to have zero effect on my trading. I'm a technical trader. So for me, I trade the technical. So I trade the opportunities I see on the chart. If I were a fundamental trader, then I would like to position myself ahead of that. But that's just not my style of trading. I'm technical, not fundamental. So I won't be positioning myself based on anticipating any type of news event. Rather, I'll be, again, just doing analysis on my chart. If that interest rate hike causes the market or causes price action to go to a level that meets my rules of engagement, my trading plan, I'll execute the trade. But I'm not going to try to assume the reaction of the market. And there's nothing wrong with doing so. You just got to make sure you know what type of trader you are. I think you have to make a decision. War room's done. Perfect. You have to make a decision between being a fundamental and a technical trader. It's going to be very, very, very hard to be both. So I think you have to make the choice. Akil, if you see a cipher on the 1 hour, the B leg closed above 618, but on the 4 hour, it didn't, would you trade the pattern? If it's valid on the 4 hour, yes. But make sure you're allowed to trade the 4 hour chart. If you're not allowed to, if you're not supposed to be trading the 4 hour chart, you don't want to go up there just to force yourself into a trade. That would be breaking your rules. Ron says, Euro yen survived my 15-minute rule. Oh, why did I go to the 15-minute chart, Ron? Why did I go to the 15-minute chart? So still looking for that 26.18. Again, you can see the double top there already. Probably go to a 4 hour for this, but yeah, I think that's a good one, Ron. I'll be watching it. I'll be watching it with you. I'll be watching it with you, looking for your kill zone right here, 115.87s to about 116.28. That's your kill zone for your 26.18. About ready to head out to San Antonio to celebrate our 10-year wedding anniversary. Oh, yeah, you know what that means. Congrats, man. 10 years. Me and the wife are at, ooh, I should know this. What year is this? I don't know. I don't even know what day it is. Scratch that mark. We're not at 10 years yet. 10 years married. So looking forward to reaching there with you. Way to put in those new structure highs, Ron. Way to put in those new structure highs. San Antonio is a beautiful place too. Good stuff. Which indicator will be best for intraday day trading? I'm not an indicator user. I would say this. There's no magic indicator. So I don't think there's a best indicator. What you need to know, what you need to know is what type of trader you want to be, and then match that indicator to that trading style. So if you want to be a momentum-based trader, like a trend continuation trader, you probably want to find a momentum indicator. If you want to be a counter trend trader, you may want to use something like the RSI, where it's going to show you, or even the stochastics, where it can show you oversold and overbought conditions. But there's no magic indicator. It all depends on there's no magic indicator. It's about using your indicator the right way. So it doesn't really matter what you use. I use the RSI. I can easily use the stochastics and MACD. It doesn't matter what you use for the most part. It's about using it efficiently. Or just using price action. I prefer to just read price action. I'm not an indicator fan. Indicators are lagging. So it's like, why wait till the market has done something for an indicator to tell you something else? Why not just read a price chart and know first and foremost? But not that I don't have anything against indicators. That's just always been my kind of my theory on it. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong. Indicators are great for confirmation. They're great for confirmation. But I do think it's essential that you learn how to read a price chart. I told you the story about Marius, who's a mechanical systems trader, took the 12-week transformation course, and the whole time I'm like, why are you here, man? Like you're going to be a systems trader. He's like, yeah, I know. But he developed systems for like trading, like moving average crossings and all this other stuff, and programs them and stuff like that. He's like, yeah, I know. But he said, I can't create a system if I don't know how price action works. And that was the first time I ever thought about that. I'm like, you know what, you're right. So he took the time, he went through the course, he learned how to read a price chart, and that helped him develop some pretty decent systems. I never even thought about it from that perspective, but it made perfect sense. Hey, Akil, did you used to trade every advanced pattern in your way with affordable stop loss? Of course. Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to filter out your advanced pattern formations. Again, as long as there's something like, as long as the risk reward meets your rules, as long as the stop loss isn't, out of your maximum risk limit. You want to trade everyone. That's the only way you can be as consistent as you can. I get in trouble every time I say this when you say like, trading is a numbers game. You always get somebody that comes out, oh, that's a horrible way to think about it. But it is a numbers game. You're looking for an edge in the market. You're looking to execute something that has proven if you consistently execute it, you'll be on the profitable side. It's trading like a casino, but instead of us going to the casino, we're the casino, right? You guys know why casinos make money? Casinos make money because they have the edge, right? They have the edge on every single one of their games. That means that the odds are on their favor to win. Now, does that mean that they win each and every time? No. Does it mean that gamblers won't come and have a big day and make lots of money? Yeah, that happens. But guess what? Over time, they have the edge, so they will be profitable. And their job is to just flush as many people in the casino as possible and get them playing as long as they can. That's why they come around to give you the free drinks, right? They get you liquored up a little bit, get you feeling good. You start, going to the ATM and withdrawing more money. You stay there a little longer, right? Because the longer you stay, the more they're eventually going to get their money from you. Eventually you're going to get your money for it. It's just the rule of probabilities. This is how it works. Eventually they're going to get your money from you. So the longer you stay, the better chance they have of getting your money from you. So advanced pattern formations and really your trading strategy, whatever it is the same way. If you're trading something, your trading strategy should have an edge, which means over time it's been proven to have a positive expectancy. So your job is simply to execute those trades day in and day out and exploit that expectancy, exploit that edge. How do I determine the best pairs for trading advanced patterns? What should I look for? Can you guys answer that question for me? How do I determine the best pairs for trading advanced pattern formations and what should I look for? Back testing. How do pro gamblers make money? I can tell you how I make money gambling. I gamble. Craps is my game. But yeah, back testing, and filtering out your portfolio. Correct. I make my money in gambling the same way I do in trading. It's obviously the casino still has the edge, so I don't win every time. But when I trade consistently. So I play craps, right? If you're not familiar with craps, you put money on certain numbers, you roll the dice. If the number gets hit, you make money. If a different number gets hit, you lose money, right? Where people get into trouble with craps is where they take all the funny bets. They have bets like in the middle. Ooh, take the fire bet, 30-1 odds. You're like, ooh, man, if I win this one, it's 30-1. I can turn my $10 into $300 or something like that. And those bets, of course, rarely ever happen. The odds are very, very low, but people get excited and they get sucked into them. It's kind of like chasing a news event, right? You see this big candle, and you're like, oh, buy. And you end up losing money, right? The way I gamble is this. I go to the craps table. I have a money management strategy, so I know exactly when to increase my bet, when to decrease my bet. And I play the same exact numbers, the same strategy every single time, right? I play the numbers that have the closest edge, right, to winning. I don't have the edge. The casino has the edge because in craps, 7 is the most likely number to occur. That's why the 7 is the crap number. If it hits 7, they take everyone's money, right? But after 7, the next two highest numbers are 6 and 8, right? So I make sure to always play 6 and 8. I'm consistent. I don't do any of the silly bets. And you stick to the strategy. And the people that run the table, they hate me. They hate me and my friend. Because again, their job is to get you to do the silly bets. And we do the same thing every time. 6 8 4 5. 6 8 4 5. 6845. And I'm like, come on, man. I'm like, nope, 6845. Now there's a little tweak to that strategy because again, we don't have the edge. So you got to do a few things to try and to I guess take advantage of your hot streak, right? That's how you make your money you got to catch a hot streak. It's surviving and then catching a hot streak and taking advantage of your hot streak. So think like a trend continuation trader, right? Trend continuation traders have to. Do we have any trend continuation traders here or trend following traders? Someone that looks to hop on the trend and really ride it up. I'm gonna pause a few seconds so YouTube can catch up. This is a perfect example. All right, YouTube, right? So the ultimate goal of a trend continuation trader is to catch the trend, correct? Or trend following traders to catch the trend. Now we know that the market does stuff like this, right? And when the market's consolidating, what's happening to our trend following traders? They're getting whipsawed all over the place, right? They're taking it right here and then they're losing when it doesn't follow through. Okay, well, I'm taking it again right here. I'm losing and it doesn't follow through. And they do this a lot, right? Typically, trend following traders have a very low win percentage. Look at Richard Dennis and the turtle traders, right? I forgot what they were operating at, but I think they were hitting at like 17% of the time, maybe. Anyway, you survive these types of areas, right? And this is kind of like craps where you're playing the game. You're playing the game and you're just trying to break even essentially. And then you're waiting for that one opportunity, right? You're waiting for this one opportunity like this. And your job as a trend following trader is to do what? What's your job as a trend following trader? Your job is to ride this all the way up and take advantage of that move. And the 20% of the time or 30% of the time that this happens is going to leave you more profitable than the 70% of the time that this happens. Craps is the same way, right? You survive. Once you hit that hot streak, you take full advantage of it. And that's when you stack your cash. And then, the market goes back to consolidation, right? Expansion leads to consolidation. And then you do the same thing. You just survive. You survive until the next trend. You survive until the next trend. I don't know if we have any examples of a chart here. A good example would be something like this. This is a small example, but right? Trend continuation traders during this area getting killed, right? Profiting during the trend, right? And you go into consolidation, you're getting beat up a little bit, and you make some money during the trend, right? You just keep doing this over and over again, right? The market only does so many things, right? Accumulation, markup, distribution, markdown, right? So that's how, that's how do we get on this conversation? That's how craps, that's how gambling and trend continuation trading are similar. Do we have trend continuation courses? No, but we go over this stuff. We can go over this stuff in our 12-week transformation course. But we don't have a trend continuation specific course. But I tell you what, if you learn how to read a price chart efficiently, you can do whatever you want. It's so many traders just skip that step because it doesn't bring them profit right away. So many traders, they want to go straight to what's going to make them money. So, most traders I talk to, Akil, give me your system. What's your system? And I'm like, I don't have a system. What do you mean you don't have a system? No, I just know how to read the markets. I'm just skilled at the art and science of technical analysis. If you know how to read a price chart, you can be an efficient trend continuation trader, trend following trader, counter trend trader, pattern trader. The options are limitless, but most traders never take the time to learn those basic steps, right? They want to go straight to the fancy stuff. Hey, thank you. Say cool hangout, Akil. Yep, no problem. Thank you. Appreciate you guys joining. Again, we have nothing better to do on a Friday, so we're just sitting back, relaxing. What's anybody watching gold? Did gold give us any type of reaction? We were at a beautiful buying area for gold when I checked before the day opened. We see anything from gold? Yep, not bad. Marquis says, I'm losing. Well, the first thing to figure out is why are you losing? That's the first thing of the answer. Stop the bleeding. That's the first thing, right? You get cut. First thing to do is stop the bleeding. Once you stop the bleeding, then you can start the healing. But you got to stop the bleeding first. So if you're losing, you got to figure out why you're losing. You got to figure out a solution for that losing. Then you can start making the change. I thought gold down equals dollar up. Got to be careful with correlations. Do you have a backtesting course? No, all of this is taught in the same course. We have one course for everything. We just have one super course. The super course. With your trading, with your technical background, do you do binary trades? I've never done binaries. No. All casinos have no clocks. That's another psychological trick to get you in. No clocks. Guess what else casinos don't have? Windows. Guess what grocery stores don't have? Windows. They don't want you to see it out. What else do casinos have? A lot of loud noises and flashing lights. Do you know what loud noises and flashing lights do? Right? The same when you combine loud noises, flashing lights, and the rush of gambling, it's the same high that you would feel from either it's going to get dirty. From reaching your point in a sexual engagement, if you get what I'm saying, or doing cocaine. That same rush. That's why they get you all fired up. Ding, 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 lights, ding, 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 ding. Yeah. Do you guys talk about structure trading, reading a price chart, advanced pattern course in the same way as 12-week transformation, or is it more? Do you guys talk about structure reading in advanced pattern course? Not the same way. Advanced pattern course, the focus is more on advanced pattern formations. There is a section on I think on reading a price chart though. And are you in the syndicate, Darko? Have you invested $1 in our syndicate program? So there's a little training course in there that talks a little bit about some basic elements of trading too. If you want to take that, it's, again, I think everyone should be in the syndicate. It's $1. So if you're not willing to invest $1 in yourself, it leads me to question how serious you are about trading. But there should be a little, not this one, next one, I would say. Solid foundation. Nope. Where is it at? I thought there was one in here. There you go. Basics of structure in here as well. I knew it was somewhere. Hey, take care, Ron. See you next week. YouTube's going crazy over the cocaine reference. Hookers and blow, right? That's why we get into trading. Hookers and blow. Hey, how do you manage money for someone else? You have to essentially, you've got to get them to give you their money. So you've got to prove yourself enough where they're willing to take risk on you managing their money. But there's a few different ways you can do it. You can do, you can do signal. So you can do anything from a signal service to a trade follow service to PAM accounts to setting up a fund. It all depends on how deep you want to take it. You don't need to be licensed until you hit, what's that number? I always forget the number. 25 mil, is it? Don't quote me on that. I think that's the number, but don't quote me on that. The link does not work for what, the syndicate link. Just go to tradingpower.com. I'm pretty sure it works. Tradingpower.com. Click products and services. But that could be to a different question. All right. Looks like the questions are slowing up. Let me know if you guys have anything else. I don't plan on being here for too long, but we'll keep it going until the questions dry up. So let me know if you have anything else. I'll answer them. Then I'll get my weekend started a little early here. I've told friends, coworkers about my trading, and a few have wanted to invest with me. I tell them to hold off until I have years of solid performance under your belt. That's very smart, Kyle. I did the exact opposite. That was my original thought. I wanted to wait a year. And I kind of got started too early. And that was a big downfall for me. So yeah, take your time. Wait until you're really ready. Wait until you're really ready. I made lots of mistakes, but maybe that's what made me a good coach. I made so many mistakes that I can warn you about stuff. But yeah, wait until you're ready. But yeah, if you get good at trading, guys, I mean, you'll have people throwing money at you. You may not want to accept all that money, but you get good at trading. You'll have people throwing money at you for different things. Hey, no problem. Hey, take care, Jane. Anything else, guys? Live room members? We're going to have a cool Monday session again. We're going to talk a little bit about, Gabrielle sent me an email. We're going to talk a little bit about, I guess, kind of the experience I learned about taking trades in certain places. I guess the topic is going to be more about decision-making on valid trading opportunities. And it should be interesting. It's one of those deals where I say, like, hey, a double bottom is a great thing to trade, but if you trade every double bottom, you'll go broke. Or an ABCD pattern is a great thing to trade, but if you trade every ABCD pattern, you'll go broke. So it's one of those things about filtering out when to trade and when not to trade. So it should be fun. Should be fun. So I'm excited. That'll be on Monday for you 12 weekers. Is the syndicate live? What time does it run? The war room meeting, we have a live war room meeting on our syndicate from 8:30. Charles usually goes about 15 to 20 minutes. So from 8:30 to, oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Hold on. That's not what I wanted to show you. So from 8:30 to about 8:45, 8:50, Charles does a live war room meeting. And then the video archives are over here. We also have our trade floor. So we'll shoot the trades that we're getting involved in, or to shoot the trades that are on our radar. We'll shoot this through our trade floor website. All right. And then we also have, I try to do a video at least once or twice a week, depending on how much the market moves. So you get this as well. So you get, you get way too much for what it costs, but our training courses they're good price. They're cheaper than a lot of training courses you'll see out there, at least a lot of the quality training courses you'll see out there, but they're not cheap by any means. So we try to offer a cheap option for those who just are looking to get involved with Trading Power, but maybe don't have the time to be involved in a live room with Jason Greystone or myself, or cannot yet afford a full training course, or just don't even, they want to see what we're about first. but you get a lot for it's, what is it? It's $1 a month, $1 for the first month. And if you sign up for a full year, I think you get a 50% discount. I'm not sure if that offer is still going on, but I know we had that at one point. So you can get a full year in the syndicate for like $250. It's ridiculous. Something like that, or $300. I don't know. But like I said, it's the cheap alternative, which is good. You need that. You need that. Can you post the link you posted yesterday about the 12-week transformation course, the one with the video explaining it, Darko? The video explanation one? I got another question as well here about account size, so we'll get to that as well. Okay, yeah, I'll shoot it. Let me see if I can find it. There's a video explanation course. Where's Charles's? London Live Room, photo editor, 12-week transformation demonstration. Nope, that's the old one. Charles, here we go. Yeah, here you go. Boom. I'll put it on YouTube as well. My YouTube freeze. There you go. Hopefully that works. Question. Yeah, don't worry about it, Brian. Yeah, it was more so just the word. Just could use a different word, but yeah, I talked to Darren about that as well. We're gonna get that fixed by January 2017. So, but you're not the only one that has noticed that. So yeah, no worries. But I appreciate the apology. But no worries, man. It's all good. Do you think it's good to start an account with, let's say, $2,000, and after a year put more money in it when I become more confident? I think that is a perfect idea, right? Trading is a business, right? Understand, when you guys become traders, you guys are sole proprietors. You guys are business owners, essentially, right? And you want to treat your trading like a business. And that does, of course, that means doing the right steps, in educating yourself and setting up your trading plan and stuff like that. But here's how prop firms work, right? You guys familiar with prop firms at all? Basically, group of traders that are trading a business's money. Yeah. So when you first, you got to take a test, obviously, and pass a trial period to be hired by one. But once you make it past your trial period, they allocate you a certain amount of capital. So they may say, "Hey, Gustav, we're going to give you $10,000 worth of buying power," right? Just a little sample money, enough to get started. And then what they do is they evaluate your performance. And after, say, a quarter, so 3 months, if you've hit the right levels or if you've met whatever their standards are, then that 10,000, they may give you 10,000 more. Let's say your second quarter, you kill it, you're destroying it, you're on fire, right? They may give you 50,000 more. So they're paying you based on your performance, but they start you off with a little bit just because, many traders starting off, we're young and dumb, we make mistakes, we blow accounts. They want you going through that learning period with minimum amount of capital. So I think it's a perfect idea to start with a $2,000 account, kind of get used to trading live, because trading live is a completely different beast than trading demo. For you guys that think demo trading and live trading are the same thing, no, not at all. It's completely different. I say it again, completely different. It's completely different. So it's good to start off with an account size that you would be okay blowing, right? Not saying you should blow it, but if you were to blow it, it wouldn't destroy you. You'd still have some left. But an account size where you can kind of get your feet wet, you can trade for small position size, so you still get that feeling of trading live money and going through those emotional swings, but it's not really enough to, to cry home about. Then as you get more used to trading live, as you get better, as you see, hey, I am following my plan, I'm not making these mistakes, I'm trading the right way, I'm doing good, then you can start giving yourself more money. Okay, well, my second quarter, because I did good over the first 3 months, I'm going to give myself another $2,000 or another, whatever the quarter of my total account size is. And then maybe after a full year, assuming everything goes well, that's when you're trading your full amount. And it's a very smart way to kind of what's the word I'm looking for? To kind of balance your way in. That's not the word I'm looking for. I'm not good with words. I'm good in the charts, not with words. But it's a good way to kind of balance yourself in and minimizing that risk, especially at first. So I think that's a very smart idea. And I think that tells me a lot about your mindset, which is very good. Because a lot of traders they throw everything in at once and then they blow it all when they're in that young, dumb, new trader stage, and then they don't get a second chance because everything's gone. So I think that's a very wise way to do it. Good stuff. Where can I get more information about the syndicate? TradeEmpowered.com. Hit the products and services tab. There may be a link in the information box of this what is this Google thing, this YouTube thing. But here's a deal as well. Gabriel said, that's what I did. I just opened a live account with only 2,000, which I'm not allowed to touch after getting my trading license. The small account is perfectly fine for me for getting started. Don't be in a rush to lose money. Very rare a trader starts off very, very good and just firing on all cylinders. Don't be in a rush. Take your time, learn, and as you get better, when you start feeling more confident and the numbers reflect that, then reward yourself. Kyle says, demo and live are totally different. I completely agree. Psychology is tough thing to overcome, man. It's the number one killer of traders. It's not that people can't trade. It's trading psychology. I'll tell you what, I got a note the other day from a trader. What'd they say? It said, Akil, what can I do to master my misleading thoughts? How do I control myself? How do I learn process over outcome? Right. And it was basically, how do I stop from psyching myself out? And I'm like, that's the hardest thing. Most traders know how to trade. They can trade well. They can find okay opportunities. Obviously, they need a little bit of polish, but you can find decent opportunities. The problem is they stumble over their own feet. And that's why we preach so hard process over outcome. We hammer you day in and day out on trading psychology. This is why traders come into the live room each day, right? It's not necessary to find trading opportunities. For some people, it is like that. Some people want to find trading opportunities, have an extra set of eyes on the market, or maybe just see how what they've learned on the internet can be done in real life. But many traders in the live room are really good traders, but they know that psychology is an issue. So being involved with a group, right? Being involved with a group that all has the same mindset, right? Being involved with a group where they know if they type something that is against kind of our rules, they're going to get hammered for it. It kind of keeps them accountable. And I'll tell you what, it keeps me accountable too. I want to break my rules all the time, guys. I'm not going to lie to you. I get tempted. I see a lot of trading opportunities where I'm like, oh man, that's a buy right there. But I know, guess what? If I share it in the syndicate, if I share it in the live room, someone's going to be like, hey, Akil, why'd you buy that? Huh? And I've got to own it. So it keeps you accountable. And that's good for trading that psychology, having others to keep you accountable. It could even be for you guys that aren't able to join a live room or something like that. Find a trading friend, someone that you shoot notes to at the end of each day, where it's like, hey, this is what I looked at today. And what do you think? Find someone to help. This is really just support. Or follow us on Twitter, right? We've got a great group of traders on Twitter. But yeah, that's the hardest part, overcoming those psychological obstacles. Have you ever used the algo to backtest your strategies? No, I haven't. No. If you want, thank you. Everyone's like, if you want to succeed, choose Trading Power. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Undecided between signing up for Trading Powered or Warrior Trading, completely different trading strategy. Any thoughts at all? I would say test both out, Papa. That's my advice. Test both out. It's like picking a car, right? You go to the dealer, you got two cars, you're undecided between, test drive them both. We have free trials in our live room. Come see us. Free $1 a month trial in the syndicate. Come check it out. I'm not familiar with the other trading company, but hopefully they have something where you can sign up for like a trial and test it out. Test out both, and whichever one is the best fit, do that. What I care about is that you find the best fit for you. I don't really care. Obviously I want to work with everyone. I'd be lying if I didn't say that, but I want you to find the best fit. So if you check out our stuff and you're like, nah, this just isn't my style, and you go over to the other trading company and you're like, man, this is more like me. This is more something I like. Then, hey, go with them, and vice versa. If you go with us, you're like, man, I really dig this. Stay with us, but test drive them both if you can. Risk management hint: you need a calculator. Not necessarily. If you have a money management spreadsheet, you don't need a calculator. It does all the math for you. You just enter your pip totals, and it'll tell you exactly how much you should trade. It'll tell you exactly when to increase your position size. It will tell you exactly when to decrease your position size. Talked about this the other day. Money management, that's the most important thing in trading. As far as if you want to make a lot of money trading, it's money management. Your trading isn't going to change all too much. You're going to do what you do. The difference is when you're able to hit those different levels and position sizing and bump that 60% return into 100% return. That's where you make the money. Or that 40% return into an 85% return just by having a good money management system. That's where you make the money. Especially if you're not a math person like me, right? I didn't know anything about trading until I came across Trading Power. Nice. Why Jason Stapleton is not available these days? Just doing a lot of work in the background. Trading Power is his company. It's tough being the boss. He's got a lot of stuff he's doing. So he's still running the company. Unfortunately, he's got traders that he's trained to handle the day-to-day operations. I came through a Jason Stapleton course. That was my mentor, right? He used to run a live room. I picked up the live room from him and most of the training here. Charles and Jason Greystone both trained under both of us as well. And now they're educators and coaches here at Trading Power too. So like any good business owner, the idea is to run your business without you needing to be there. So he's still trading. He's still working on some stuff. I can't tell you what it is. He's still working on. He's got some stuff in the oven. But just not he's not doing the YouTube videos and stuff like that anymore. Funny, someone on YouTube got offended the other day, like, stop lying to us. What happened to Jason Stapleton? I'm like, nothing happened to him, man. Watch the Jason Stapleton program. He's live every day. Why would I lie to you about what happened? Yeah, someone got offended. They're like, tell us the truth. Stop lying to us. I'm like, okay. He was abducted by the market makers for being too good. And now he's being held captive in this dark, dark cave, forced to trade day in and day out for the enemy. Dun, dun, dun. That's the truth. Dun, dun, dun. But here's what happened. Yeah. Jason was going to take a break from War Room just because, we don't have a lot of downtime as educators. That stinks. It's kind of hypocritical because we get into trading for freedom of time, the freedom to do whatever we want. However, when you're an educator or a coach, you have an obligation to your clients. So Jason was going to take some downtime for the summer and allow, and Charles stepped in and said, hey, I want to do this War Room thing. And I'll tell you what, Charles has just been killing it. So it's like, hey, why stop a good thing? Charles has been, if you saw the War Room meeting today, he's been destroying it. Right? I'll show you guys our equity curve again for this year. Charles came in right around, where did Charles come in at? Charles came in like right around here. And he's been killing it. So when someone's on a hot streak, I'm not stepping in front of them. I'm not getting in the way of that. He jumped ship because TE is a scam. Oh, you're on to us. All right. Anything else? Any good psychological tips? I think that's my problem right now. Same thing we talked about earlier. Just you gotta ingrain yourself with process over outcome. Is there a cipher pattern on New Zealand 7085? I know there was a cipher pattern on New Zealand on the daily. I'm not sure about the 4 hour. Let me check. 7885 or 7080. Yeah. Yeah, this one is better seen on the daily. But yeah, this was a nice cipher formation here. ABCD pattern completion, falling wedge is doing everything we thought it would do. Beautiful level of Fibonacci confluence. You can't see it all, but we have an 886, 1414, and 127 down here. So this is coming to life just as we thought, looking for a move back up in the previous structure around 72 even, which we came 4 pips away from. So it's been a great trading opportunity. Akil was one of those teachers that complains about how much overtime they work. You're darn right. Darn right I do. I work too much. The problem is I love what I do. That's the thing. That's the thing. I don't understand it about myself. I work entirely too much, right? And then, but if I have more than 2 days off, right? I get bored and I start working during my off days. That's I'm just ingrained that way. It's weird. It's like I'll have a Sunday off and I'll be like, all right, football day, right? Let's watch some Premier League action. Let's watch some NFL all day. I'll get like 2 hours in. I'll be like, let's go look for some pin bars in the market. Or let's go read another chapter in the latest Brett Steinberger book. Right. I'm just built to push on the gas pedal, man. I think that's the competitive nature in me. I'm just pushed to be on the gas pedal all the time. Because I know if I'm not, one of my traders here, they are, and they're all trying to be better than me. And I want them to be better than me, but I'm not going to make it easy. Yeah. I just love the market. So I'll scroll through a chart for fun. I'll scroll through stocks and I just love doing analysis. It's, love what I do, guys. Love what I do. So I'm living the dream in that aspect. Akil, on average per week, do you make more pips from swing trading or day trading? No idea, Remy. You can't really ask that question per week because I may only get 2 swing trading opportunities a week. I may get 0 swing trading opportunities a week. So there will be weeks where I don't take any swing trading opportunities and only day trading opportunities. There are going to be weeks where maybe I take 2 swing trading opportunities and they both win. So it's who knows? Who knows? Who knows? I'm not really a week by week type of person. I do that. We do it for the syndicate. I don't really care on a week to week standard about anything. But yeah, depends on how good the day trading is. Depends on how good the swing trading is. Best thing to do in life is have a job that doesn't feel like a job. Amen. I'm British. I cannot afford fancy training courses due to family commitments. Do you know anywhere I can find some free training media? Yeah, tradingpowered.com. Click learn to trade. Right here on this YouTube channel, I've got 300 videos on my YouTube channel. We've got over 300 videos on the Trading Powered YouTube channel. There's more than enough right there. We've got free seminars, free trainings on our website. Fundamental Myth, Into the Gray, 2618. It always shocks me that people haven't taken advantage of all the free stuff we offer. But yeah, check all that out. No, I don't use any news feed sources. No, I don't. Nah. News isn't too important to me, so I don't use anything like that. And let me ask you this, Adam, and we get the We get the point. Like everyone says, I can't afford. Can you afford? Can you afford $1? Do you have $1 that you can spare? If you have $1 that you can spare, I can tell you how you can get 6 weeks, right? 6 weeks of free education for $1 if you have $1 that you can spare. Oh, he said he's British. He may not have $1 at the last night. Ooh. I'm American, so I spent my last $1 on an oversized meal. Ooh. All right, I'm not sure if Adam's still here. Chad says, I hear you, Gabby. My wife says, how can you look at those charts for so long? It hurts your eyes. Yeah. I mean, I think my wife hated me during my training period. I was all about the charts. I lost friends. I was not a good person. All right. Well, if you can spend $1, you can spare $1. You can get 6 weeks of free education with us. Then if you can spare $20 a month, you can join the syndicate. Right? If you do the yearly subscription, I think it's like $20 a month, something like that, 25. But yeah, Baby Pips, Baby Pips is good too. There's also a video we have called Forex Basics. That's good too. I don't know why we never promote that. It kind of get lost, but it should be on a YouTube channel called Forex Basics or Basics of Forex. Leverage is what allows us to trade. That's what allows us to trade. We have to be leveraged to trade unless you have a massive amount of money. So leverage is what actually allows us to be involved in the market and trade. Yeah. Yeah. Well, tell you this, Adam. Look, if you can afford, if you can spend $1, sign up for our syndicate. You get 30 days for $1. Right. Also, sign up for the London Live Room. There's a free week trial to the London Live Room. There's also a free 1 week trial to the New York Live Room. So that'll give you 6 weeks of free education right there. If you then decide you want to sign up for the syndicate for the year, right? That's going to cost you about $294 for a year, right? So that's going to be about $25 a month. $25 a month is going to be about $6 a week. So like I mentioned earlier, we understand that everyone can't sign up for training courses or is not ready for a training course. That's fine. There's always a way to stay involved for minimum cost and for free if you're just follow our YouTube videos each week. Gabby says, I'm physically not able to grow a beard, but I'm pretty caveman mode already. Yeah. I've got my big grizzly beard right now and I got to shave this thing off. I think there's animals living in there. But yeah, that's back testing for you. You come out with a beard, all types of smells. It's a very, very good time in your life. You find out a lot about yourself. No, the trade floor and syndicate, that's different than the live rooms. Yeah. Different than live rooms. But most of the stuff during intraday, at least, most of the stuff that I put into the trade floor, we go over it live in the live room. So you'll basically see all that stuff as well. How many Starbucks coffees a week? How much does Starbucks coffee cost? Like $5 now, right? So spare one cup of coffee a week. Good old latte factor, right? That's a great Automatic Millionaire. That's a great book. If you guys haven't read it, good old latte factor. Yeah. I understand, Adam. There's YouTube. There's a lot of lagging. We're gonna shut down a little bit anyway. Akil, what would you consider an acceptable yearly return to start money management with clients? I think it's commonly known. If you can, hold on one second. Perfect. If you can average 2% a month, and when I say average 2% a month, it doesn't mean 2% every month, but at the end of the year, on average, you're considered a good trader. If you can average 5% a month, you're considered an excellent, exceptional trader. How do you play healthcare stocks? I don't trade stocks anymore. And when I did, I never got into healthcare. I tried to when I traded stocks, I stuck with stuff I understood. It's like I can't help you with that. I'm sorry. In euro dollar, can I trade a bat pattern like that? If it's valid, yes. If it's a valid bat pattern, you can trade it. If it's not a valid bat pattern, I wouldn't trade it. Remy says, still undecided, but I'm leaning towards swing trading. You can do both, Remy. Or think about, I always say between swing trading and day trading, what fits your lifestyle a little bit better? What fits your lifestyle a little bit better? Do you need to be locked in? Can you commit a few hours each morning to stare in front of the charts? Or would you rather have the freedom of doing, taking an hour to do analysis in the morning and then, another hour of analysis at night? Or you can always do both as well. You can do swing trading and day trading. Because remember, day trading, I only day trade for 3 hours. I'm not sitting in front of my computer 8 hours a day, so it's only a small period of time. I have another question. What's the lowest amount I can start with? Depends on what your broker is willing to accept. So whatever your broker says is the minimum to start an account size with, that's what you can start with. Kyle says FXCM will just let you start with $50. Oh my gosh. All right. Yeah. Wow. That's horrible. Don't start with $50. Can anyone, just go to tradeempower.com, click products and services tab. Tradeempower.com, click products and services tab. No, that video is not up anymore. Or you can look in the information box of this video. All right. The key to starting account size is never trade an account size that's more than what you're willing to lose. So if you're not willing to lose $5,000, don't start your trading account with $5,000. Don't risk more than what you're willing to lose. That's the key. Aside from that, it doesn't matter what you start with. You can these days you can trade micro lots, which is a penny per pip, or a 10 cent per pip, excuse me. So people can start with ridiculously low amounts. What's important is that whatever you start with, be willing to lose it all, right? Only trade money that you're willing to lose, and just understand the reality that you're not gonna take a $5,000 account and become a millionaire in a year or so. So just be realistic with your goals and expectations. Link in video does not work. Does it not? Did I put a wrong link in there? All right, just go to tradeempower.com, Adam, and just click products and services. Fix that link. I'm not sure why it's not working though. Works for me. Okay, maybe it does work then. Invest $1 by checking out our syndicate program. Huh. Yeah. All right. So I'll fix the link. Just go to tradeempower.com. There is no money on Forex. Okay, if you say so. That's the best comment I've read all day. There's no money in Forex. Really? All right. I'll take your word for it. That's a great way to end the day. Akil's facepalm voice. Yeah, yeah. Okay. I mean, it's the world's biggest market, but there's no money in there. All right. But Kevin says, but Forex is money. Chris says, yeah, maybe, yeah, there's money in there. Maybe you just haven't found a way to make it yet. There's a massive amount of money in Forex. There's also, it's the biggest market by far. There's just massive risk to lose it all. I have made a trade and I have made $20. All right. What type of position size are you trading? And you just made money. So how can you say there's no money in Forex if you just made $20? What type of position size did you make $20 on? So a mini lot. So you made 20 pips with a mini lot. All right. What would you have been able to make in any other market with that 20 with that position size? Or rather, I should say this. Here's the cool thing, right? So you made 20 pips, which is decent. That's good. You made 20 pips, right? And I'm guessing you have no, you're not. You would have made $1,000 in another market. All right. Okay. Well, go to that other market. But I was going to say this: if you can make 20 pips with trading a single mini lot, right? What happens when you boost your position size to 2 mini lots, right? What happens when you boost your position size to a standard lot? That same 20 pip move, right, now became $200 instead of $20. What happens if you're ever able to trade 10 standard lots? That same 20 pip move now yields you $2,000. Right? You got to remember, the goal isn't to make, you're not going to make a lot of money trading a mini lot position size, right? It takes money to make money, just like any market, right? You need to think about the stock market. One of the first stocks I bought was Apple, right? I bought 100 shares of Apple. I bought it at like $90. Let's just call it $100. Apple went up to $200. It doubled. I didn't make that much money. Why? Because I only had 100 shares. So the key in trading is to make sure you're trading the right way. The money will come. The more money you have in your account, the bigger position size that you're able to trade, the money will come. You just got to focus more on the process, right? So instead of worrying about how much money you can make in Forex, worry about trading the right way. And then as you're able to grow that account, trading that right way, trading the same way will yield you a bigger return without doing anything different. The problem is the market and the broker. And I would tell you this. If you're unhappy with Forex, I would not trade this market. If you're unhappy with the market, if you're unhappy with the broker, if you're unhappy with your ability to make money from it, trade a different market. No one's forcing us to trade this market. There are many other options that we can do. We never want to trade something that we're uncomfortable with. So I would liquidate the account and find a different market that's going to suit you better and trade that one. And there's nothing wrong with doing that. There's nothing wrong with doing that. He's not a troll, guys. He's not a troll. Don't call him. He's not a troll. It wasn't. I didn't take any offense to that question. Not a troll. I considered it a good question. But always remember, if you can make $1 a day, you can make $1,000 a day. Only one thing needs to change. position size. Think about it that way. All right, we're going to shut down shop for today, guys. Thank you for joining me in this live hangout. Live remembers another great week of trading. 12-week transformation members, I will see you on Monday. I'll see you, the rest of you guys, on Sunday or maybe Saturday for a Forex market preview video. Feel free if you have a specific pair you want me to take a look at. I haven't looked at any charts really today, but if you have a specific pair that you want to take a look at for over the weekend, just do me a favor, just type it in under this YouTube video and just say, hey, Akil, do you mind looking at this? And I'll look at what everyone's typing, and if there's something on there that's worth looking at, I'll check it out. And until next time, plan your trade, trade your plan. You guys have a great weekend. Be safe. Take care.